All right, so let's go ahead and get into it, man. Anker goodness when it comes to Qi2 accessories, because you just know, man, there's Anker all throughout my office. They just know how to do charging accessories right. So now Anker has finally did it. We've been talking about this battery pack that they've been needing to come out with. I said you need to make a slim 5,000 milliamp hour battery bank, because guess what? Ever since they've came out with the 10,000 milliamp hour Qi2 battery bank, this has been my go-to power bank. If somebody says, T, I need a power bank to just throw at me in my bag or something to go with me that has the capacity, it's not too big. Guess what? This 10,000 Qi2 is going to always be my option. It's not going to break the bank ridiculously, but it is a little bit of price tag to it. But guess what? It holds the performance down. I recently came back from Europe for 2 weeks, and this was one of the battery packs that I always kept in my sling bag, because it can power whatever I need to power and give somebody else some juice, sitting at 10,000 milliamp hours. And this slim form factor always had me wanting to get a 5,000 milliamp hours. And Anker said, guess what? We have finally done it. And yes, I'm just browsing Amazon. I think I'm going across Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And I saw an Anker post and I said, you know what? They did it. Let me order this thing ASAP. So I've had it for about a week now, been putting it through its paces. I got the numbers for you, how this thing charges. But let me tell you, man, for this Qi2 5,000 milliamp hour ultra slim power bank, it is basically delivering on exactly what you need when we are talking about 5,000 milliamp hour capacity. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, you already can see, man, the construction of this bad boy is ultra thin. This is why I've been wanting one of these. Now, you know, we reviewed that certified Apple, that one they only sell in Apple Anker battery pack. I was actually looking for it before I cut the video on, but I couldn't find it. And I'm glad, because you guess what? The thing was trash. A few of us reviewed it on YouTube and it just did not give me the results that I was looking for. So I've been putting this through the paces, and I can tell you, man, that Anker is doing their thing just like they normally would when it comes to their battery packs. Now, just for some size comparisons, let's go ahead and bring the OG 5,000 milliamp hour battery pack. I think this may be Qi2, if I'm not mistaken, when it comes to the 622. I legit have so many battery packs, I always get confused. But when it comes to this is going to be that OG size. But now when it comes to the ultra slim, you can really tell that size difference when it comes to these two. So noticeable, all right? Noticeable size difference between these. And also, of course, bringing the 10,000 milliamp hour over, which is, I feel like, is just such a nice form of technology, packing that much power in this slim form factor, the bigger brother of the all new 5,000 milliamp hours. You can really see how slim this 5,000 is, man. This is going to be the perfect battery pack where you can just slide it up in your pocket. If you need a little bit of extra power, slide this in your back pocket and you're good to go, man. We're talking about the not even, big as a wallet. So let's go ahead and weigh it. We're going to leave it on ounces, because they say this thing only weighs 4.3 ounces, and I'm reading 4.27 ounces. All right, so this thing is very small, very light. It's not going to take up a lot of real estate when you're talking about throwing it in your bag or in your pocket or anything like that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the construction of it. Now, I have the gold version. Now, before I cut the camera on, I went on Amazon just to make sure it was available, make sure there was no funny business going on with it. But I don't see the gold version anymore. And I picked this gold because I was like, man, it just looks so smooth. It actually probably might really match the desert titanium, the desert. Yeah, I'm thinking about dessert, because my girl was talking about a sweet treat. So I'm thinking about a cake and some pies, as if I need it, because I'm 2 cheeseburgers away. But the gold color looks really good. But on the website right now, on Amazon at least, I don't see the option for a gold. It's just the black and the white version. So be it. Yeah, it's just the color, all right? But I don't know where the gold version went. Maybe by the time this video posts, maybe it'll be back up there. So it looks really good. So this front is kind of like, really almost like that Desert Titanium iPhone when it comes to it. And the sides are going to be kind of that rose gold. That's the reason why I got this, because I like what it had going on. As you can see, your standard, you're going to have your Type-C. Over here, you're going to have your power button. And see those LED lights are going to light up, letting you know your charge status, your level when it comes to this battery pack. Of course, it's going to be MagSafe. You're going to have that Anker coming across the side of it right there. My camera's a little bright. But it's standard battery pack, all right? Power button over here on this side as well. And you just already know what to expect when it comes to this battery bank. Now, when we're talking about performance, let's go ahead and talk about this bad boy. 5,000 milliamp hours, and I got to glance off because I got my little paper here so I can tell y'all what this bad boy did. So for the first day, I let my phone get down to 21%, all right? So I had 21%, and it charged up to 78% via wirelessly, all right? Wireless. When you're talking about wireless, I'm just talking about popping this bad boy on the phone like that, and it begins charging. As you see, you don't have to cut it on, do anything like that. It charged from 21% to 78%. It took a little while, all right? MagSafe isn't the fastest, especially when we're talking about Qi2. It took about 2 hours, a little less than 2 hours to get to 21% to 78%. And in my opinion, I think that's a very good power, what you can get, all right? If you're somewhere where you need to be like, all right, I got to make it through the night, let me slap this charger on and just leave my phone alone. Don't touch it. I know it's hard to not touch your phone for 2 hours, but guess what? It just got to 21 to 78% in no time, all right? 2 hours. Took a little bit of time, but it is what it is. But the real test is always when I decide to go wired, all right? The best way to charge, if you have a wire sitting around, is, of course, to plug it up to your battery pack and then plug it up to your iPhone. And this is going to charge things at 20 watts, all right? This is going to be the faster way to charge it. Now, I slap this combination on the phone at 12%, all right? Let it drain down to 12%. It charged it up all the way to 74% in under an hour, all right? That's the ideal way to really use this battery pack, especially if you have something like the Nomad Charge Key that's very small. Throw that in your bag. You can keep this combination here. This is where you're going to get the better performance from your battery pack, unless you just don't want to. Of course, you can use it via, MagSafe, but I always say if you're able to plug it in to your phone, that's where you're going to get the adequate speeds when we are talking about this. Now, one thing that I'm always very anal about when it comes to these battery packs is temperature, because that's one thing that really plagued that Apple sold Anker 5,000 milliamp hour. That thing was like a fireball, all right? But when I go on the Anker's website, they are saying that when you're using this, it is guaranteed to not get hotter than 104 degrees. So I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and put that to the test. So I actually was charging it via wireless because I feel like that's where you're going to get most of your heat when it comes to battery banks, and it never got above 100%. You can see this one video, I think it was sitting at 94, I think 99. So it almost got to 100, but guess what? It was never over that 104 degrees. I also had a video where I was testing out different areas, and you can see when you're probing the different areas of the phone, you're getting different temperatures, all right? It depends on what's internally located in the battery pack. Look, I am no person who designed these things, so I'm sure different areas get a little bit more warm, but no matter where I put that radar, my Blackstone, look, I did my Blackstone IR infrared, all right? That's the only thing I got, all right? I cook on the Blackstone. I got to measure the meat, all right? I got to measure the temperature. And I said, you know what? Let me just whip this out and check the temperatures. And guess what? It was never above 104 degrees. So every time I was using this, charging via wireless, it never really had that feeling where I feel like, yo, this thing is getting a little too hot. I never got that feeling when charging via wireless, all right? So when you plug it in directly to the phone, it's going to give you up to those 20 watts. And of course, that's going to yield just a bit faster when we are talking about charging. Now, I know one thing that really plagued that other Anker battery pack was when you slap it on, it reads slow charger in the battery settings. Now, so far, I haven't seen it. That's something that you have to leave up here for a long period of time for it to pop up that little warning that you are doing slow charging. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and go in here now and see if that's actually being said on the charging. See, right now, it doesn't say slow charger right now. It's not up there. Let me go ahead and turn my brightness down. But as you can see, it doesn't say slow charger right now. But I went on the Anker website and they're saying that it could pop up because guess what? That's basically the charger in combination with the OS limiting itself so you don't really get too hot, okay? That's like a fail safe, if you want to call so, when it's talking about charging it. But I've used this, I've charged while using the device. Your performance won't give you that great amount of charging when you're using it. I slapped this on when I was at 20% and I was still using the device. And even with me like using it as it's charging, I never really put it down. It got up to about 58%. So you're taking a bit of a gap when you were talking about using this wireless charging. You are going to be taking away from some of the actual power because guess what? You're using it, you're taking power as it's trying to put power in. So therefore, it's not going to be that efficient when you're talking about charging. But overall, this thing has done very good. The temperature stays cool, 20 watts charging, and then recharging this thing, it takes a little less than 2 hours to recharge this back when you were talking about plugging it up. If I can bring my Anker charger over here, let's just see what it's recharging at as I plug it up, all right? And I might do a video on this thing because I actually love this thing right here. So let's plug the battery up. It may not even recharge because it's already sitting at 100%. So I think it's probably going to recharge. See, right now it's sitting at 10 watts because this thing is basically already charged up to 100%. So If you do want to charge it up, once it goes completely dead, it's going to be a little less than 2 hours to charge this bad boy back up. But overall, I really like this. Of course, it's going to do pass-through charging. It remains cool while charging. I mean, it does all the things well. 20 watts when you're talking about plugging in, and it's so light and thin, it just slides in your pocket when you need extra power for your device. It's just perfect, all right? When it comes to the MagSafe strength, it's gonna be as really strong as the actual case itself. This is the Andar Aspen, and I mean, it's up there, but it isn't anything that's gonna break records when we're talking about strength. If you have a phone with a strong MagSafe, then it might attach a little bit stronger, but it's perfectly fine with something like this. And the thing about it is, it's so slim that you can use your phone and not feel like you have some big, sometimes when you got the 10,000 one up there, that can kind of push it with the size and you kind of feel that you have kind of like a big brick back there, but not now when it comes to this 5,000. It feels very thin, it's out of the way, and it's just a nice piece of technology where Anker is just getting slimmer and slimmer when it's coming to their battery packs, man. So this is something that I can highly recommend. I had it for a week and I've been using it to make sure that the temperatures were cool, that it was giving you the charging capacity that you needed when we are talking about just giving you that extra boost when we are talking about from, it's not going to be a 0 to 100%er like the 10,000 milliamp hour, but it's going to give you that extra 20 to 70%, 20 to 50-ish, 60% when you're talking about using it while it's charging. So it definitely is going to get the job done. All right. When somebody gets a 5,000 milliamp hour, they're not looking for something that's going to charge your iPad, your phone up, your AirPods. All right. Also, you can slap your AirPods up there if that's something that you want to do. And let me see if it'll begin charging. It should begin charging via MagSafe. I guess it's not. Let me see. Let me slap that on. I don't know. It's not charging my AirPods and the battery pack is on. So that's a little weird. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Let me see if that's just a thing with all these battery packs or is it my case that I have? So it might be the actual case of this that's not letting it charge. It's kind of weird. I don't know why it's not charging, but you should be able to charge your AirPods. Not sure why it's not doing it at the tail. Oh, there it is right there. So as you can see, it is charging my AirPods right there if that's something that you want to do also. But Anker, 5,000 milliamp hour. Look, go out there and get it. We're talking about $54.95 over on Amazon. You can get it. It depends on where you are next day. All right. So the link will be down below. Go grab yourself one. I like this bad boy right here. And this is going to be in the pocket. I'll probably throw this in my work bag. I don't need a lot of power because I can just plug in when I'm at work. But guess what? If you go out somewhere afterwards, you can slap this on and give you all the power that you need. So go ahead and check it out, man. Links down below. This is the gold version. Maybe they have the gold version back up. Right now, it's just the white and black. But $54.95, links down below. Go check it out, man. But if you need something with a little bit more power, and I'm not even talking about this bad boy right here. I like this one too. But the 165 watt power bank, 25,000 milliamp hours, that thing held me down while we're in Europe. If you want to check the video out for that, I will sure to pop that link right here.